Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So the other day I was in my usual photography video watching rabbit hole and checking out a bunch of new photos from photographers that I like, as well as you do. And the comments that kept coming up over and over again, or for whatever reason I was just noticing them more on that day, were what settings did you use? Or occasionally, what camera did you use? And this has always been a common question in the photography community, right? But for whatever reason, like I say, there was an abundance of them on that day, or I was noticing them more on this particular day. And I'm sure everybody watching this video has received that comment or asked that comment. I've received it and I've asked it in the past as well. Now, firstly, obviously, I completely understand why people ask this question. When you're a beginner photographer and you're still learning how to operate a camera, it can be very valuable to ask that question, especially when we're talking genres of photography that may have more unique camera settings involved, like long exposures or astrophotography. So in no way am I saying this is a silly question to ask. I know settings have their value in photography. At the end of the day, you need the settings on the camera in order to take the photo, right? But of course we can put our camera in auto and that can take photos for us as well without us knowing anything about settings. So although I know and I understand the value behind the question, I would say, for me personally, in my opinion, that it is probably the least important information anybody should want to pull out of an image or from a photographer's body of work that really speaks to us. Okay, so why do I think that asking what settings did you use when we find a photo that we really like, why do I think that question is one of the least important questions? There's two reasons for this. Firstly, understanding why we like an image and why it might sort of draw us to want to create something similar has very little to do with the settings that the photographer used. What really matters and what's way more important is the subject matter, the framing, the composition, the conditions that the photographer was photographing in, how lighting played a role, and so on and so forth. The visual elements inside a photograph that we can actually see with our eyes at the end of the day are what help us grasp what it is about that photo that's actually speaking to us, and we might want to incorporate or try and recreate or whatever it may be, because there's a million different settings variables that a photographer can use to achieve that same look. Instead of asking a photographer what aperture they use to shoot a certain scene, where they could of course come back and just give us a number, which is pointless because it would have only worked for them there at that time, we're better off looking at the image and saying to ourselves, okay, do I like this image because they've used a shallow depth of field and it's isolated their subject? Do I dislike this image because the background's way too blurred out and there's way too much bokeh? And then secondly, which I've kind of already slightly touched on in that last point, is that yes, we can take another photographer's settings and go out in the field and replicate those settings, but those settings are only ever going to work for that photographer at that time shooting that image. Yes, it might help us get closer, it might help us get a better understanding of what settings they might go towards, but at the end of the day, in order to capture an image, it's the micro adjustments and the problem solving that comes from us, the photographers, that we need to do in order to make sure that we're actually getting the images. I remember asking somebody in my first year of photography, when I first got an ND filter and started messing about with long exposures, so how do you actually do it? How do you capture that dreamy, glassy look on water? And they told me, put your camera on a tripod, set it to f22 ISO 100, and then shoot your shutter for as long as you want to get your photograph. And I learned very, very quickly that was terrible advice, because sure enough, those settings did not work on my photographs because I wasn't shooting them at the same time of day or same place as them. And looking back, those settings wouldn't have even been paramount for the person that told me either, because they would have to adjust them completely for different photographs. So I have here a copy of Vivian Mayer, Street Photographer. I believe it was actually a YouTube comment that put me onto Vivian Mayer, and I absolutely adore this book. I've looked through it front to back many times, and there's only one single photograph in here of Vivian's that I'm even slightly curious about when it comes to the settings that Vivian used. The only reason settings actually popped into my mind when I was looking at that particular image was because I was interested in whether the motion blur was intentional and it was a creative choice, or whether it was a case that it was low light and Vivian was not shooting on a tripod, therefore the motion blur happened by chance and turned out to be a fantastic image. That's what I was interested in. I didn't care about the number, whether it was 100th of a second or what have you. That doesn't matter to me. It was the creative choice and whether that was intentional or not that mattered, and that's why settings slightly popped into my head there. And that example aside, photo books don't have settings in them, at least not any I own or have looked through. I'm sure there's some out there somewhere with photo settings in them, but the settings are pointless without the photographer's vision. If the photographer doesn't know that they want to create something particular, they aren't going to know then what settings they need to dial in to get that look anyway. So the settings almost come at the bottom of the chain, really. We can replicate the settings from any photographer's photograph, but at the end of the day, we can't replicate the moment that those settings were used in and needed for. So I hope all of this made sense. Again, I'm not saying it's a ridiculous, stupid question that should never be asked. There is value behind it, especially for people that are still learning how to use the exposure triangle or anything like that. But I do think it's the least important part, because it's going to be different for every photograph, and it's the vision, again, of the photographer which then dictates the settings we use. You don't go out with settings in mind. You wouldn't go to the coast and say, I'm going to shoot everything at f8 and exposure bracket everything because that's what somebody else did. You're going to adjust them for what you want in that moment. And finding out what you like in photography is not really got anything to do with what settings people enjoy. Was that a good analogy? No idea. I fear I'm rambling now. Right, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it may have sounded like a bit of a basic one, especially for those of you that are watching that are way past camera settings and all that business, but just something that came to mind and I thought I'd talk about. So hopefully you enjoyed and picked something up from it. And if not, maybe you enjoyed the photos that I took. Who knows? But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.